parent asked who was interviewing my mom.
She was told that she couldn't play with the boys. She was told that they were too big, too rough, too strong. She was told to give up her dreams and move on. She was told to just be pretty, be quiet, be a lady. She was told that women had to stay on their side of the court. Stay in your lane. Playing and competing with men was insane. She was told that men and women would never be equal. Dreaming like that would only be to the mind and the soul. She never listened. She knew that their thinking was old. She is magic. She is the definition of spirit. She is what champions are made of. She is.
Greetings, greetings, greetings. This is the 6 o'clock hour, day 6, I think it is, of the Harlem Holistic Wellness Week. If you've been with us all week, we've been doing some really, really, really incredible interviews and programs with some leading health professionals. And I've personally had the pleasure of doing a few. And today, there's another special day for me, another special occasion, another time. I did one this morning with Zoe Drew. That was amazing, fun. But now I'm going to get serious and have some conversations about money. This whole COVID-19 situation and everything that's going on right now is affecting everybody, not just health-wise, but financially. And so what we did was we got the Queen of Green, the Empress of Money, to come in and do her regular show as part of the Health and Wellness Week event. And I am going to bring very special for me is my sister, the one and only Dr. Jana B. Woodhouse is here.
Greetings, greetings. How are you doing? Are we ready
Everybody's
for
doing fine.
some financial energy?
Yeah, yeah, I am. We're gonna talk
You
about
are.
this whole. What? Go ahead. What'd you say?
I said, are you ready for some
Oh,
financial information?
oh yeah, we definitely are. We definitely. We're gonna start off by first before we even start, just let everybody know, those who don't know, Jana is one of the top financial advisors in the country. She is ranked in the top 1% of all financial advisors in the country. A history, Jana, 35 years in the financial world so far, or is it longer?
41.
35. 41
41.
years. Wow. Okay. 41
I
years.
look good.
Right. She started when she was 12. I'm actually not lying, but we'll tell that story in her bio in when the film comes out. You'll hear the full story. But uh Yana, she was the first black woman on Wall Street, the first black woman to serve on Wall Street as full service broker. She was a secretary. She wasn't, doing anything else. She was actually on the floor trading, the very first black woman to do that in the history of America. She also is the head of Knowledge Enterprises, her own financial firm that she heads up. And she's been doing this. She started, funny as it is, Yana is also a tax expert. Anything money, she's an expert at. And she's a tax expert. And she bought her own tax business, started and bought her own tax business when she's looking at me now, make sure I get the right age. But it was 19 years old, correct?
Correct. Now you're right.
Yeah. All
Because
right.
they done said some stuff. I'm like, okay.
So she was 19 years old when she started her tax business, and she still has it to this day. I think she started with what, 200 clients, something like that. Uh, and
I started with 150 clients. That was really, I thought
oh,
I had bought some. That's
right.
when
So
we
she
used
had
to do
100
taxes
clients.
with by hand.
Okay. So 150 clients, and now she's up to the thousands, and she has a lot of big time people that go to her for financial services and advice. One of them being Dr. Badero, who was on with us earlier in the week.
That's my
And
buddy.
so, if you remember the interview with Dr. Badero, who is the only nephrologist and cardiologist in the world, I thought there was like two of them when found that he was the only one. So he is really that top notch. But he's one of the clients, and the other celebrities we won't name and mention because I like to keep private. So, but Yana, we're here today to talk about health and wealth and put a little spin on it because it is Health and Wellness Week. We're going to talk about health and wealth and how your financial situation affects your health. So let's just start there. And what do you say to that? What do you say to the stress? Because I think they say that most issues with people and stress starts from either love or finances. And most marriages break up because of finances.
Money.
Yeah, money.
Right.
So money is an issue. So talk about that.
Well, I do want to say is thank you again, and I thank the Health and Holistic Wellness Week. I think it's very important. I'm so glad that they decided to add a little wealth in there because it is interesting. There are so many people and so many relationships are destroyed because of money. It's currency. It's an energy. And so because of that energy, many people, for lack of the energy, become irate, irritated. There's so much that happens. It's interesting. I read an article some years ago, and they said that the average individual, there's some that will die on Monday morning. And so I was like, Monday morning? Yeah, they'd rather die than go to work. So, that's a whole nother
Wow.
mindset. And so you have to, before you can get wealthy, you have to have the wealth mindset. Before you can be in business, you have to have the business mindset. And what happened is that through our history, we don't have a relationship with our money. We give it away freely. for stuff that we don't even need. So, this is a whole element to bring wellness. Most people will have a stroke, and people say, or they have heart failure. And for what? It's usually over money. They're stressed. They're stressed. I had a young person in my office a while ago, almost ready to commit suicide because of debt and money. And we're going to talk about some debt today too. But that's the kind of stuff that can cause people to just give up on life. And it's not worth it. You can, with the right types of plans, you can definitely turn yourself to from someone who has nothing, that have nots, to the haves, and we probably will talk about what's going on with the value of our money also. So, there's a lot of things happening today.
Hmm. Okay, Yana, we're having some issues with your video. So we're not I hope you, but it's a little blurry. But all right, we're gonna keep going because hear you, and they'll still get the information.
Okay.
And hopefully we can fix that up as we go along. So money, stress, lack of money, lack lack of money usually comes from lack of knowledge. Correct.
Definitely.
Financial literacy is at an all-time low, more than likely.
Financial
Uh,
literacy is basically zero. Matt, the
mm,
thing is that there right now, when I first started on this journey with my company Wealth Wave, there was 4 states in the United States that made it mandatory for financial literacy to be taught at the high school level. So some things have gotten a little better. There's 17. If you realize we got 50 states. So why isn't it every place?
mm,
And then most of the education that's going on right now in this country, what they call financial literacy, is how you
mm,
can balance a checkbook. Okay, most people don't even use checkbooks.
right.
So, what in the world, what are we teaching our young people? We teach them that they can go get an ATM card, but they're not taught how to budget, that bad word, budget, that people think, to be able to make sure that they're putting away money for their future.
Mm,
And that's my whole mission, is to bring financial literacy, and specifically to the urban community, but not exclusively. I want
mm,
it to be clear. I want to change the way people think about money
right.
and how they use their money. You know.
Mm. Okay, so we're gonna let's dive into how one gets their financial affairs in order. Um, what strategies? How does one go about that? What steps? What steps should they take in order to get their financial affairs in order?
Well, the first thing is that they should become a little financial literate. And I know there have been many books out there in the financial service industry, and there's a lot on the internet information. It can be kind of overwhelming. And again, I have to say my industry has done a great service to Main Street America. And I tote this all the time, is that we have talked above the average individual to understand how money works. And so, therefore, when the financial channel comes on, we click because we're like, I don't understand none of that stuff. Or they look at their 401k plan and then they close it up and don't want to look at it. So we've got to change that feeling. And so some of my partners, 2 of my partners, Tom Matthews and Steve Seabolt, as I've said before on the show, came up with the book, How Money Works, Stop Being a Sucker. And I like that title because in many ways we have been suckered. And one of the things that the book says is this to anyone who has ever felt like a sucker because someone else knew more about money. So that's this book. And I am endorsing it because it's an easy, fun way to learn about money. And it's so important that people first take a little time, read a little bit about how money works, And then after you do that, now there's a little chapter in here, and it's one of my favorite chapters, which is the 7 milestones to money. And in the 7 milestones to money, there's so many different levels. Now, before, and I'm going to ask you, Matt, can I take a little liberty? And before I get started on the 7 milestones, can I at least talk about the stimulus check?
Yeah, well, yeah, I was going to ask you about that anyway. So yeah, go ahead. The stimulus check.
Okay, I got to talk about the stimulus check. I love
Here we
all
go.
you people. I love all my clients. I love my community. Y'all are driving me crazy about this stimulus check. It is $1,200, and there's $500 for every minor child. That does not mean a college student. The person has to be under the age of 17 to get the $500. You would think the government is giving people $1 million. Now, if they were giving them even a 100,000 each, I'd go, yay, yay. Okay,
You do
$1,200
something.
here
You
in
do
New
something.
York won't even pay someone's rent, let alone their mortgage, you know? So I just wanted to put an idea of what's going on. They did send out stimulus checks, and that seems like the only thing that we ever talk about when it comes down to is when the government is giving out some money, that we talk to each other and tell each other whether we got money or we didn't get any money. Okay, so I'm getting calls at least 5 to 10 per day. Yana ain't get my money. If you filed a tax return, because they put the power in the IRS's hands. And so if you filed a 2018, and even if you didn't file a 2019, but if you filed a 2019 and you had the money was coming from going to be deposited, your refund, that means you paid the government too much money. That refund was deposited into an account, and that account is still active, then your money would arrive there. If you owed the government, then at that point, the government doesn't have a place to deposit your money. So they're going to mail you a check. Okay. For those of you who have Social Security, that means Social Security income, Social Security disability, Social Security A, which is Social Security Administration, regular Social Security. If you have your check deposited into an account, automatic deposit, direct deposit, you will get your stimulus income that way. Now, if there's a problem with your banking account, they will mail it to you. All right. If you have children and you are on Social Security disability or Social Security income with children, you may have to contact IRS and go online to let them know that you need that $500 for each one of those children. IRS.gov. IRS.gov. Okay, I'm going to say it again. IRS.gov, not Internal Revenue Service. IRS.gov. Okay. Why? You can go there and they will, there's a little stop, where's my money? Pay my money, payment money. Click the button. If you click the button, it will ask you some information, some simple information. They want your Social Security number or the person that you're inquiring about, their Social Security number, date of birth, and the address. And that will allow you to see where is your stimulus money. Okay. Please do this. Don't call your accountants. Don't call the lawyers. Don't call IRS. IRS don't have anybody there personally to talk to you. So go to irs.gov. If for some reason they say they can't calculate it, give it some time, because if you are receiving, let's say you made a payment to the IRS, you're making payments to IRS, and also you're on Social Security, or you received a refund and you're on Social Security, or if you don't pay anything at all to to the government during the years and you're on Social Security, they need to make sure they're not paying you twice. So that's why they got to figure out and calculate. They will be sending you a letter. They will let you know. If you had someone else, such as a third party, where your refund went to them first before, like for example, some of my clients, they can't pay for their taxes right away. So the tax preparer can tap in and take their fee because we don't work for free. Okay. So we can take our fee out of the refund. There's a mechanism legally to do that. Not where we take the check and then cash it and give it to you. That's not right. Yeah, that's not the way to do it. But if you're doing it correct, where there's a third party bank involved, they are not generating and giving you your money. It is back to IRS who's going to give you your money. They will either cut a check because they can't seem to get this bank account correct, or they will directly deposit it. Okay? So sleep at night. I understand $1,200. You might have already spent it, which is another bad thing. It's a stimulus check. And that's what they plan on you doing to stimulate the economy, is to get you out there spending online. Don't do it.
Right.
You know, we put some of it away. It's supposed to be, you know how grandma used to say, put money away for a rainy day? Put some money away for a rainy day. Okay. Say what?
I was going to ask you, what do you think we should put their check? Should they invest it into another vehicle?
My opinion, you should put it somewhere. Well, everybody's not going to be able to invest. They got bills, and that's what it's for, but they need to do a budget. They need to see a financial advisor. If it's a surplus situation where you have more, they call discretionary, then maybe you could put it into a vehicle and start to invest in the market a little conservative. If you don't have discretionary income, then just budget it out. I went to the grocery store not too long ago, and I'm not going to accuse any stores of price gouging, but boy, I know I have a budget for my groceries, and it's usually $200 a month. And this month I spent $325. Well, and I bought the same stuff. So that tells me prices are up. They're not recognizing this. So you got to eat. You got to put away some money. I would say for sure that at least put it away, part of it, and save it. If you're getting ready to just spend it and for frivolous stuff, see, there's a difference between a want and a need. If you're buying something that you really need, then yes. But if you are buying stuff just because I want it, make me feel better. I've been cooped up in this house for 6 weeks. I just want something. Don't do it. Talk to your financial advisor. I've been talking to individuals. There are investments as low as $10 a month you could put in places, but you've got to be able to talk to a financial advisor. And of course, my office is always open to you with my financial advisors that I have on the team, and they will serve you. We all using Zoom. I didn't know much about Zoom and stuff like that, but now I do. So I say to those who are working on receiving this money, do something with it. Put something away for a child's future. Building a legacy. And so that segues into our next little talk.
The one more question about the stimulus check, that they're going to take that money back at some point, more than likely, correct?
Well, over the past, since I've been out here a long time, I've seen 2 situations where the government gave money. And what they did was they created a formula at the end of the following year, the tax season during the next year, to see whether or not that person rightfully should have received the money. What does rightfully receive means? That did their income go up more? during that time, or did they get more money, and should they have received it? Now, those who are with the CARE Act receiving their unemployment money and they're getting this $600 extra and going, woo woo, I got $600 more. You still have to pay taxes on that. So you need to talk to your accountant or your financial advisor, find out what your tax bracket is, or go online and find out what your tax bracket is going to be. Is it going to be 10, 15, 22%, whatever it is, and withhold that. If you don't have it set up to withhold during the time where they take it out the check, and most of you need them to take it out the check because you're going to put it to the side and you're going to spend it. Okay, so if you're that type of person and can't put it to the side, take the deductions out the check because you're going to owe next year. You're going to have to pay some taxes on that money. You know, it may not be a lot, but you know, you can't get earned income credit on unemployment because that's not earned income. Okay, so logically, you know, some people say, "Oh, I get my earned income credit." You didn't earn any money. You went through the whole year on unemployment. That's not earned income. So therefore, there's nothing going to help or protect you. So I just say to you, get on board, take the taxes out, put it to the side if you can. If you can't, then let them take it out the check. All right. So the stimulus, we don't know what the formula is going to be. We don't know what that formula is going to be. But there's a good chance that there will be some kind of formula that will say, yes, in addition to you receive the formulas, the stimulus check, and here's the formula. And it might not be a lot. It might be a 10%, it might be a 5%, but be prepared.
Okay. I'm gonna, Jan, if you don't mind, I'm going to rearrange the order of what we were going to do.
Okay.
To your a little bit. So
I'm
we're gonna
hearing you.
jump to.
Okay.
I know. We hear you, just that the visual is kind of choppy. So we want to try to fix that. And so what I want to do is real quickly jump to, and part of the getting your affairs in order is making sure that you understand credit and how important your credit report is. And we'll talk a minute about that. Then we'll jump to our guests who will talk about that, and then we can try and fix you up. Technical stuff going on, ladies and gentlemen, behind the scenes. We're going to try and fix it this way.
Well, you know, are you ready to bring on our guest, or you want me to talk a little bit?
Sure. We'll talk a little bit about that, and then we'll bring them on.
Okay, so out of the 7 milestones, and I'm just going to run through them. There's, of course, financial education. We say read the book. Proper protection is number 2. Emergency fund, number 3. 4 is debt management. 5 is cash flow. 6 is building wealth. And 7 is protecting wealth. So these are the things that you need to do to build a healthy financial portfolio. But above all, when we're in our communities, we've done some really silly stuff, and some of our parents have done some silly stuff, like use our social security number to keep the lights on or the cable bill on. And so debt management, we need to understand what debt is. We're using someone else's money. Debt can be good and debt can be bad. And in the most case, because we teach the rule of 72, which is a major rule on how money doubles for your positive, but it also doubles on the other side when you create debt. And so I would say is that debt management is so important. We have a tendency at the age of 18, we get a credit card and then we go crazy. And then we realize we got to pay that back. And we're not ready. And interest rates are very high. The bank makes money, you know, and that should be very disturbing to you that the bank is making money off of your money. And the way that they're doing it is loaning your money to somebody else to use.
Right.
So that's my take on debt. Debt is to look at your interest rates. Most people don't know what their interest rate is on their credit cards. You need to know. That's why the rule of 72 is important. And a matter of fact, I put it out there. If you get a chance, go to my website, wealthwave.com/Jana B. Woodhouse. I know it's long, but it makes sure you understand who I am. And that's wealthwave.com/Jana B. Woodhouse. And if you go there, you can learn about the rule of 72 and how good it can work, because Albert Einstein said it was the eighth wonder of the world, but also it's a problem when it's your credit card.
We'll definitely talk about the rule of 72. Yeah, like you got time.
Okay,
talk about it here.
That's good. I got time. All right. If I got time, then I'm going to take the time.
Yeah, it's
but
one of the most
debt is a
important things.
major element. Everybody has an issue with debt somewhere, somehow, some way. And so the best thing you can do is to talk to a counselor, someone who can counsel you and look at your debt. Some people, you know, they live by their credit score, and when it's down, they feel down. So that's another way of depression. You know, my credit score is in the 500s. Oh my God, I'm worthless. Sounds nonsense to me, because no, you're not worthless. And the thing is that you can make a difference. And so I know we can make a difference. We have a guest on Access Wealth Nation and the Harlem Holistic Wellness Week to talk about debt. So Matt, would you like to introduce our guest?
Yes, okay. I'm going to introduce him. Brother who is a expert. Jana, we're going to take you off and let you go do your thing, and I'll talk to him for a while, and then we'll bring you back into the conversation.
Sounds
so
like
we'll let Jana go. So coming up right now while we try to fix Jana's situation. There's a brother who had a chance to meet, I think it was last summer or summer before last, and this brother wowed me with his credit information, and so we wanted to bring him on today to talk about credit. Let's get him on right now, ladies and gentlemen. This is Tyrone Glover, the credit expert, the credit man that we always turn people to talk to. What's going on, Tyrone?
What's happening there, Matt? How are you, sir? Can you hear me all right?
Yes, sir. I hear you fine, brother. I hear you
all
fine.
Right. Perfect. I know, like you said, technology is really obviously bringing out the good in it, but sometimes we have those ups and downs. So
because on our system here, we can see the volume of people, you know, so to speak, that are online that is using the internet at the same time to do this. And, you know, like, you know, through our system, like earlier today, I was in some kind of way, I got lost. But it kept broadcasting. It kept broadcasting. So the people who were on, they were able to continue doing their thing. But I had to come back later. We had to get it fixed. So we're going through that these last couple of days. But talk to us about credit and how important credit is, and the myths and untruths that people might think about credit.
Okay. Well, first and foremost, Matt, thank you very much for having this. I can't thank you enough for giving me always the opportunities. It's really important that us within the communities work together and do what you're doing when it comes to Jana and when it comes to myself. So thank you. Again, please remember to remain safe. And thank you again. I can't, credit is so important. We really don't know how important it is. We look at it sometimes, those of us who might say, oh, well, you know what, I'm not going to use credit because it doesn't help me. If you're not using credit, you're not building credit. Credit helps you because, as we have seen, and now this pandemic has now proven beyond a reasonable doubt that we don't have enough leverage. Our money isn't as strong as it used to be. We have now seen that even our country has now failed us epically. And we're now really understanding that we got a lot of work to do. And one of those understandings is that if you don't make enough, you're going to have to leverage your credit. It's just that simple. Hence the name of our business, which is Leverage Credit Recovery. We are about teaching individuals the importance of leveraging your credit. And if you don't know how, you're going to have to get with somebody like myself, and there's other businesses out there as well doing exactly what we're doing. Whether they're doing as exceptional as we are, It's obviously for those to go out and try. I know there's a lot of companies, which I don't want to mention, that are doing it well, and then there are those that have questionable tactics and methods. And we want all of our consumers to understand, if it doesn't feel right, smell right, taste right, it ain't right. Okay, so that's the first thing. But credit is seriously, seriously important. And the more you understand about it, the better your chances are at maximizing your lending potentials and opportunities. As you can see, there's a lot of money now, as Jana said prior to myself coming in, that's being put into the economy. The stimuluses, the part where you're going to now have to use your data to possibly even be able to get some of that stimulus. So it's important to know what your information is more or less saying about you. And they're not going to sit down like we're doing right now and have these face-to-face. And I love technology now because it allows for us, even in social distancing understandings, we can still see each other and talk to each other. Outside of doing this, I'm a teacher. I'm thankful for the opportunities that I get to spend with my students now through this method and prior to, which was in the classrooms. So I'm super excited as to where we're going to be going with this. But it's important that we now get in touch, as Jana and as Matt have already said, health and wellness. This ties into that 100%. The healthier you are, obviously, in your physical health, and the healthier you are, obviously, in your financial health, ties in together. Your spiritual health ties in. There are so many components, just like this corona, as they're figuring out what components are going to obviously come up with some form of a vaccination. We now have that same opportunity to figure out what's going to happen inside of our financial situations. So you got to take this serious, the financial wellness along with the credit piece. And so I don't get off topic, the important pieces are the 5 factors of credit. When you can understand those pieces, so intricate as we do here, you'll never make any more errors, ever, because you're coming from a place where you had a lot of myths and misunderstandings to now a place where it's like, wow, had I known about this prior to, I would have never been in a situation financially, or at least when it comes to not having enough. You would have been always able to leverage your credit.
Quick question. What usually gets people in trouble with credit? What's like the number one factor or top 3 factors?
The biggest thing, the number one, at least in my professional opinion, is getting too big of a credit understanding. What I mean by that is taking out a credit card that doesn't allow for you to bring it down to that magic point. So say, for instance, if you go out and get a $25,000 credit card, but you only make $5,000 a month, you're never going to be able to get that down to where it's going to increase your credit utilization, meaning how much credit can I then get from somewhere else? And that's what credit is. It's about having more people say good things about you. So the biggest thing that we tell individuals is make sure that your budget can allow for you to bring that down to where the industry, not to where you think you're going to get what you want, but where the industry is going to be able to give you exactly what you deserve because of how you're using your credit. So that's the biggest one. Making sure you don't overutilize your credit by not understanding, I can't go out and get a $25,000 credit card. I can't go out and get even a $10,000 credit card. That makes no sense when you think about it from an understanding point of having to pay that money back.
How much credit card? I know you had, and I'm going to bring Jana back in because she might want to get in on this here as well. And what is the level of credit you should keep on your credit card? I mean, you were telling me before,
sure,
like 30% or something like that.
Absolutely. Now you got to remember, credit is it's a scale. So clearly, you don't want to be maxed out because that means the scale is upside down. It's you don't want to be you don't be over leveraged and don't have anything that you can obviously borrow. 50%, the industry and the Jana, time, 50%, the industry looks at you and they go, And if you're running that on a monthly basis, they're still looking at you going, wait a minute, 1 month he's good, the next month he's off, the next month he's good, the next month they're off. They don't like the teeter-totter either. Clearly, they don't like zero because they're not making any money off of you. Now, they're going to give zero to those who have 700, 800. They're going to give them those percentage rates because that helps drive in more business, because they go out and they say, oh, look at me, I got a 0% card. But they do have a sweet spot. They do have a spot where they know I'm going to make money. And they also have that spot where they know I'm not only am I making money, but you, the consumer, are equally going to be able to capitalize off of your next financial obligation that you may get into, because that pattern, they're looking for a history, they're looking for a pattern. So we found out that 23% works best for both the consumer in getting that next financial obligation or that product, works best for them, and it equally works well for the lender because now they're making 23%. So for us, we've noticed that works well, and it comes from also my business understanding that I've worked for a lot of companies now, and as I've been able to have privy to their internals, I've learned that that's been their sweet spot. They've made millions, if not trillions of dollars with that 23%. Plus, as I stated, when a consumer goes back out into the world, they're not maxed out. They're not at 50% where they're teetering. They're at that nice spot where it's easy to bring that balance back down to that 23%, allowing for the business to make money and allowing for the consumer to be at 77% of their credit availability.
Okay. 77%
Well,
availability.
you know what? I wanted to jump in because, Tyrone, something that I'm seeing, and it's beginning to be what I call the sucker punch that's getting ready to come. Everybody's home, and everybody maybe they're in a good position with their credit. And as you see, the car companies, which are definitely going to be in a real serious situation, they are willing to forfeit interest. They are willing to bring the car to your home that you're not even going to drive. Okay. They are and I was talking to one of my clients who's looking to buy a car because she got in an accident to buy a car. And I said, hold up. They got the 2019s that they haven't gotten rid of. They got the 2020s that are sitting there in the lot. The 2021s are getting ready to come out in September. You are in a great position. Do not fall for the okie doke. You've got Amazon and all these other companies that are out here offering you all these deals to buy, and so what's your advice to the person? My advice is chill. Let's sit down and put a plan together. But, from a credit point, like you're saying, 23% in debt. Okay. So you can easily recuperate from that. That's wonderful. But if you out there because you're bored, because you've been home, or that the kids are home and they're saying, mommy, daddy, gimme, what do you do, in this respect? You've really got to put something.
And this is where you have said it. You hit it right on the head. That's why, again, smart people listen to smart people, Jana. Smart people, okay? That's why we do what we do, okay? So again, you hit it. Yes, they're the advertisers know. We have to look at this as an investment. Most businesses invest in businesses, and we see the Dow still doing great. It hasn't dropped to those lower teens that I was thinking it was going to get into. It's still hovering around that 23, 24. So the Dow is still doing fantastically, but we got to look at this as a long-term investment. 3 months is not a long-term investment. Now, if that car dealer was talking about, I'm going to give you 12 months, that's a different story. It allows for that recuperation to come a lot more time if something should happen again. But they're being creative, and we as individuals equally have to be as creative. Like you said when you started, put that $1,200 away. This is a rainy day, and it's going to continue to rain because there's no scientists
real.
yet who can tell us that this is going to be done over in 12 months. This is going to be done over in 18 months. We got a long road ahead of us. So yeah, let them throw out those ads, but just don't get bought into it. Like you said, if your clients are calling you, tell them what you in a rush for. Is your car is it broken down? Has it made it to the junkyard? Can you get another 2-3 months out of it?
And yes, work it out, because you're not going nowhere. You basically, you know, it was interesting. I was talking to an associate of mine that's in San Diego, and they're giving them $1,000 fine if they're out of their area. So I said, that's what's happening now.
Right.
You know, $1,000 fine if you go, okay, you don't want to shop in your area, you want to go to another area, you better have a good reason, or they're going to charge you $1,000. So they're telling you you're under control. Right. So why are you going to go spend all this extra money? It doesn't.
Yeah, this is the time.
As a matter of fact,
Go ahead.
No, I was talking to someone, and she said that the most that she's spending now, where she wasn't really saving a lot, but now she's saving. But the thing is, she's spending so much more on food.
Right.
So, you know, I'm thinking about, wow, you know, I live in a complex, and though we're not supposed to get together, there might be a good way that we could bulk buy and then leave it at the elevator where everybody can get their little bags, because we need to cut this down, this amount of money, because we just, you know, we're frustrated, so we snack. You know, I had one of my clients call me up. He said, this Corona is deep. I'm going to be about 1,000 pounds by the time it's over.
It's so funny that you say that. We have to
see that.
Yeah,
we have a question. What's the average credit score that they're looking for out there? What's the average score that you should be going?
Well, again, it all depends. It all depends on the product. If you're looking for a new credit understanding, then again, it all depends on what your needs are. So for instance, I recommend to all my clients now, allocate your funding, your spending. So if you're going grocery shopping, get a secured card that's just for grocery shopping. Instead of using your cash or your debit. Cash and debit does not help. It helps because it's a transaction mechanism, but it doesn't help with building credit. And that's the part that we all have to remember. We know we're already undervalued anyway. So we have to use all of the leverage possible, and that leverage is only going to come from our credit. So again, it depends on the product. If you're looking for a car, I would always suggest 700 and above. We are the negotiators. If you know how to negotiate, great. You also have to be okay with the walk away. If it's not meeting your numbers, walk away. 30 minutes. 30 minutes. You should know, because you've done your inventory, you've done your research. I want my sister, perfect example. I want the champagne colored with the cream soft leather with the, you know, whatever gizmos and gadgets there were. I said, Gail, you got 30 minutes. If this individual still keeps trying to come back in 28 and 29, you get up and say, thank you very much. Trust me, 2 days later, they will be calling back. If not, before you even get out the door, they will be, oh, wait, hold on. We got to know
Let's
what
talk.
we want. Got to know what
we want. That's the other thing that I tell folks when you're getting ready to buy a car.
Yes.
The registration, do not finance these things. Your license, your plates and stuff, do not finance them. You will be paying them for the duration of the car loan. Do not do it. If you're going in, the biggest, I honestly believe is that if you're going in and you got cash, go with the cash. And
I always tell individuals, please hold on to your cash, because as you just eloquently stated too, that Rule 72, that's another topic that I want you to also definitely hammer home, because that cash is now investment opportunities. We got to know how to leverage that credit. Got to know how to leverage the credit. So if I'm going to put $1,000 versus something much higher, then that's okay. I can put that on that
yes, that kind of, yes.
That's going to open up again. You're going to be needing credit almost all your life. So we need to know that that next credit opportunity is going to be a better opportunity than the last credit opportunity.
And it's true. And Fair Isaac isn't fair.
No.
He's just not fair. So this
Anna, you are hitting it out the park today. If this was a sports
so
game, it'd be nothing but home run
you
after
think
home run after home run.
oh boy, I paid off all my
Right on.
question. The question was, she wants to buy a house and her credit score is 736.
Mm-hmm. You are good, girl. Well,
And so I guess
I don't know what you're waiting for. You're a African American young lady. I just saw the picture. Plus, you probably are already well versed when it comes to your finances because you're dealing with a 736 credit score. So that's brilliant. Hats off, and kudos. But yes, you are ready. Just get with somebody like myself or Ayana who can really get you in that best possible deal. It's not about just having the numbers. It's also knowing that depending on what kind of property you're getting, whether you're getting something that's already been fabricated and it's already existing, are you going to be adding something to the bedroom, improving those high valued areas? Then you really want to talk to somebody like myself or Ayana. What we're giving you here is just recommendations and more hypotheticals. And we need to really make sure
and I will say,
go ahead.
While you're out there looking for a house, I got to bring in the tax laws. And the tax laws say you got to watch the real estate tax.
There you go.
Maximum is 10,000. That's including what you're paying if you're paying for state and local tax. Together, the maximum you can write off is $10,000. The mortgages, watch out, because with the mortgages, if your mortgage is more than $750,000, the interest may not be deductible. Okay, that's a tax law, new tax law. Till we get, well, I'm not going to be political, but until tax laws or the congressional aspect will change for us.
Oh my goodness.
Right now, our tax laws, we're stuck at 2025 with this. And so if that's the case, be careful when you're looking for a house. Right now, I know there are a lot of houses that are out there. There's inventory. There's a lot of inventory out there. And it's because people just have more house than they have income. And the thing is also what's getting ready to happen when they open up the doors for us to be able to start to really be out there and look. You're going to see, especially with this new with the CARES Act, they said, well, the banks have to care. And so they have you have 90 days that you can push back your mortgage. Well, if you can't pay that mortgage in the first month, the second month, and the third month, the banks are not, when that fourth month come, they're looking for all their money. How are you going to pay it? So we may see a lot of foreclosures take place.
Here's my thing in that, Ayana. Yes, and politics is also a blood sport, so I agree there as well. But if they're, again, looking at this as a long-term investment, everyone has to look at this now at that. We are going to take 30 years or 15 years of the mortgage as a long-term. It's not a short-term, if I don't get X, Y, and Z back in 30 days or 60 days or 90 days. They're going to have to really rethink a lot of what was and now what is post-corona. So we, the smart people, have to start really advocating for those who should be homeowners. It's just that simple. We got to step
definitely.
up and make sure that the banks.
Well, not only homeowners for personal property, they need to be home investors.
Yes.
You need to buy property for investment. And as I'm seeing this woman who asked the question, which I know her very well, welcome, Melvina. Investment property is, as long as you know that that you're not paying everything out of your pocket,
right? That
the property is growing for you. It's not just the equity in the property that you want to concentrate on. You want to deal with, if I have a renter, are they able to sustain through this tragic situation going on? So many people losing jobs, so you have to really think about what you're getting into. My recommendation is really that people need to sort of wait a little while.
No question. No
I
question.
know that there's some sales out there, but we don't know. We don't know what tomorrow brings. That's that colloquial song, but we really don't. And so, if you're all gun ho, like Tyrone said, you're in a perfect position, but just be careful,
Yes.
because if you're looking at investment income property, that person, because of what's going on in our situation with Corona, they may have a job today and gone tomorrow. I just talked to someone a few days ago, and she's got a job, great job, but the company just decreased her income by 10%, and they're changing the way her health insurance is going to be paid. How much she going to pay on it? You see, so that could basically compromise someone that you're bringing on as a renter so that they can pay you. Because again, with the stimulus and the CARES Act and all the other bills that have been issued, you're supposed to not be able to evict anyone,
Right.
And so you have to be careful being a landlord. It's different if you've got farmland, but it's not the same if you and you farming. But if you are renting to an individual, they got money today, they may have money tomorrow, they may not have money the next day. They may be totally out of a job.
What's really cool about what you're mentioning is, again, the importance of, if you're thinking about taking a house, if you're thinking about taking on an investment property, if you're thinking about taking on any type of financial obligation, why rush? There's no need to rush right now. This is still unfamiliar territory, unknown circumstances and factors that are still being devised or shall we say, more or less concocted wherever they're being concocted. We just need to as Mayor Cuomo said, we're on pause. Let's stay on pause for a little bit and let's see how things start to turn out. If they're working to our benefit, then great. If they're not, it's reevaluate. Find an expert, financial expert, someone that you trust, hold them accountable. Because trust me, you come to Leverage Credit Recovery, we're holding you accountable. We're going to hold you accountable for
That's
your
right.
business. We can't do all your work and then think that you're going to run away and live. I'm not building nobody's house, but I will supply you with all the materials you need to have whatever situation you want to be in. But we're going to have to work together. This is going to have to be a community effort. And I don't mean just blacks. I don't mean Hispanics. I mean, as the United States of America. If y'all don't realize by now that our country has failed us, and I'm not holding Republicans or Democrats or liberals or independents. No, we as a whole collective, and we can make united back to what we want it to be, united. I was thinking about something as I was teaching class. If Bush were to die, the last Bush that's available, which is not George. Is it George? No. Who's the Bush? Help me with the Bush president.
Yeah, well, there's George and there's Jeb.
No, the president.
Oh, the George was George.
George is gone.
W.
Yes. If W
H gone.
If W were to pass, Clinton were to pass, Carter were to pass, and the guy who's currently occupying the White House were to pass, do you know we'd have only one living president? We haven't had a situation like that since almost the start of our union.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we're living in unprecedented times where we can create that America that we want. I don't want to get off into a history lesson because I forgot George W. So it was George W. So I was right. So, but you get my point.
Yes, W.
Yes. So we are living.
Yeah.
Very
anything has to do also.
Before
the one that would be left happens to be the youngest one.
Jump in.
Exactly. So we're on pause. Let's keep it on pause. Get with your experts. You know they're out there because you're talking to three of us right now. So you know they're out there. And I can't wait for hours.
Careful, we're getting ready to start the clapping.
Okay. I got
It might start to clap.
Yes. Who I do this all for.
Hi, sweetie.
This is my niece Story.
How wonderful.
Yes. So I do this.
Hi there. Welcome.
And the others, I do this mainly for this one and the other ones that are also out there, for mine and for yours.
Excellent. Well, that's an important part, which I know we're going to talk about. It's 7 o'clock, so we might get a little noisy because Concord's Village has been full righteously.
Oh, that's
yeah,
awesome.
Here they starting. They are clapping for our frontliners.
Yes, we owe them a lot.
Who have given themselves and of themselves in their lives, and making sure we're okay. You know, and I give tribute to them. I'm clapping too. Definitely. Oh, it's getting ready to get loud. They here now. They're beating drums and beating. When this first started, I was out there on the terrace saying thank you, and I heard myself echoing. Now there's a guy out there. He plays the trumpet. There's another person who's out there beating drum. We got drum beaters and all sorts going on.
Wow.
It's 7 o'clock.
Wow. Well, again, you know, our country does come together, and it's sad that we always have to come together in times of tragedy. You know, it would be much, much better to, you know, not always have to be on death's door before we start recognizing, wow, I can't believe that this person is such a great person. Oh, I can't believe that, you know, this is such we can do so much better. And, you know, I'm really into making sure that we do more. So these types of understandings, Matt, thank you again. Jana, I mean, more. All the listeners out there, thank you as well, but more. We need to do this more. Let's not let social distancing keep us distant from. We need to be doing more. We need to be sharing this not only with those of us who look like us, obviously the younger ones as well. We can clearly see that there's been breakdown in our normal understanding of how it's being governed. We're not being governed. We're more or less now being ruled. That doesn't work for the United States of America.
Oh, yeah, we're being ruled.
Okay? It doesn't
work.
We're
really being ruled. There's a couple of questions, Matt.
That's a whole other conversation.
Matt, there's a few questions.
Well, let me do this real quick. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
So, just wanted to ask you guys, and before we end the credit segment, we're going to jump on to the finance.
Well, don't end the credit. You got people like Jana said about Matt.
There are. I got all the questions in. What's the question, Jana? Can you see the question?
No, there's a question that says, yes, is it we are they that can create the America? That came from Kathleen Hopkins LeQuint.
Yeah.
And then also, what's the best way for me to raise my credit even higher at this time?
The best way to raise your credit even higher at this time would be to make sure that all your credit, meaning obligations as credit cards, because you can't do nothing with an installment. Anything that's revolving, you can. Installments stay the same, but anything revolving, keep those balances at 23%. Do not pay them off at zero. Again, it messes up what you're overall getting. Now, I just want to go over this really quick. 5 factors of credit. 35% of your credit comes from your payment history. So clearly this young lady and anyone else out there, if you're paying on time, you're already getting 35%. The next part of that credit 5 factors that you got to be focusing on is how much of my credit am I using? All right, that's 30%. So anyone who goes to school automatically knows 65 is a passing score. All right, so if you're getting 65 from 2 areas, you're going to get some sprinkles from everywhere else, which is new credit, which is length of credit history, and which is also the types of credit. So right now, this young lady should be focusing on paying on time and definitely making sure that she's keeping those balances at 23%. The best way to do that is take your limit, what your credit is, multiply that times 23%. That will tell you what my 30-day cycle needs to be. Every 30 days, that balance needs to be X, Y, or Z. Perfect hypothetical, $1,000. If you got $1,000 credit card times 23%, that means that balance needs to be $230 every 30 days. You do that, that's that sweet spot that I'm telling you right now will get you the highest possible credit score. And again, those little sprinkles are just little sprinkles, but you want to get that 65%.
Okay. Cool. Excellent.
Okay.
Excellent. So before we end, I had a question real quick that it's always been my theory. What Jana said about buying a car. There's certain things you don't finance. You don't finance your license plates. You don't finance the insurance. There's certain things you don't want to finance because you're paying the interest or your interest on that over the lease of the car. Isn't it the same thing though? If I've always said that if I'm going shopping, I'd rather pay cash for groceries than use a credit card because I'm paying interest on perishable foods that over a period of time.
Now, as I've said, Matt, these are things that everyone's going to have to make a personal choice about. And me personally, I look at it as because of the fact that we've been told don't do this, but that don't do this has always led up into us having not the most favorable conditions. So by not spending or using or thinking about credit and using our cash, we now don't have no cash, nor do we have credit. So it's important to look at this from a business perspective. Businesses do not spend all their cash. They hold on to it because they never know when they're going to need that cash. So they always find ways of leveraging their credit. If I got to put my title on there, but it's going to give me a favorable condition, maybe in 2 years when I get ready to go into another lending opportunity, or if I'm going to do business with that financial institution on my next car purchase, my interest rate is going to be much, much lower. I might start off in the beginning with the 13 or 14% because I'm brand new. But if I do everything right, guess what that next car is going to be? It's not going to be nowhere near 13 or 14. You're going to be in a much better position. Then you can start handling and negotiating and say, hey, I don't want to pay for these taxes or these titles or whatever. They might take that extra $2,000-$3,000 off the price of the car because you're now that qualified leasee. You hear those all the time when you see those Lincoln commercials, those Mercedes commercials, those BMW commercials, only qualified leasees. Well, now we got to start making ourselves qualified leasees. And it's really simple.
All right. Tyrone, hang out with us for a while.
Well, I think that, in some way, okay, what I was going to say is that what you might want to do also is you have to do the numbers. I know that many of us are not the mathematicians. They don't like the math. But if you don't like it, then sit with a financial advisor. Like I told you, my group of people will come and sit with you. Yes, I'm doing a plug. But the thing is that you need to sit and someone do the numbers. Sometimes, you can, like for myself, there's many things I use coupons. I love the fact that, I have one of my stores, they gave me so many points that it wound up being $100. So that was $100 less I spent. But if you're not going, you don't have to keep the same balance going on and on and on and keep, you can make payments and make sure you're not just making minimum payments. That's one thing that they also, I'm sure they look at, because someone who just pays the minimum, there's a video out there called IOUSA. And a matter of fact, this year we had one of the speakers at our convention on IOUSA, the person who came up with the idea of putting the minimum payment at 2.5% of your balance was on there. I would have loved to have choked him. Okay, because at that point, people think that if I pay the minimum, I'm good. And reality is not. And that's why I applaud people the credit cards put the information on the statement to say, okay, if you pay the amount to be paying us, if you, we can cut that interest down. So those are the important things that, yes, you want to build your credit. Those of, especially our young people. And I'm going to ask you a question, Tyrone, because I really would like your advice on this, because I've had clients come, and especially they're young, they have no credit. Okay. Now, back in the days, it was always good that your parents could give you a mirror of their credit and hold the credit card. So therefore, they have assisted you in building your credit line, and then parents started getting edgy about it, or not only parents, some of them weren't doing good credit themselves, so they couldn't help out. Assistance to establish themselves. Should the parents help them?
Jana, 100%. Yes, but it should be done now in a contractual understanding. We've taught our kids better than what we've taught our kids, so they know what the difference is between right and wrong. So there's nothing wrong with saying, yes, I'm going to make you or give you the authorization to be an authorized user on that card. We're going to write it out as a contract, just like working for anyone else. Do it as that type of an understanding. Zero or invisible credit is going to hurt those individuals later on down the road. Start it as early as you possibly can. If a bank allows you to get one at 16, get one at 16. We need to rethink how we're teaching our children about finances. Those conversations now at the dinner table shouldn't just be about, oh, whatever, but they should really include about a 5 to 10 minute segment on how we doing with money. Pops, mom, grandma, grandpa, whoever's in that household, you should all be having these conversations. By the end of this, I should see more home ownership. That's our goal. That's what we should be looking for. By the end of this whole whatever it is, we should see more people now knowing that their living situations are not conducive for corona. They're not conducive for pandemics. So it's leverage.
No, but you got people who are living in a house, 11, 12 people in one house. That's
Thank you. Thank you. Not possible. Not possible. Come on now.
No.
You like I said, you got to get with the experts. Everybody out there, if you're listening, if you're paying attention, find someone that you trust, that you love, that you say, hey, you're my homie, you're my homegirl, or my sister, or whatever, and now really put that to test. We want to help these people. We want to help you. We know how to get you out of whatever it is that you might be dealing with. As I stated, smart people listen to smart people. Just that simple.
There we go.
There we go.
All right.
So if y'all want the book that Tyrone is talking about, you can definitely contact me at Anaj Enterprises Inc. at gmail.com, or you can go to my website, wealthwave.com/Jana B. Woodhouse, and there's a button there that you can push and say, I want a book. I'm seeing some of my neighbors that are online. If they're interested, put a note under my door, and I'll make sure there's a book under your door. Give you something to read.
And we are leverage credit recovery.
But I'm glad there we go. And Tyrone, you are phenomenal. I know you're helping some of my clients. I appreciate you so much.
Yes. Can't thank you enough.
Getting them, they got into their mess. They say you better call on Tyrone. Okay.
I was wondering when it was going to come. So thank you. I love it.
I couldn't help.
Yes, too great. All right,
but definitely. And like you said, we have the choice of whether we're going to leave debt or are we going to leave wealth. We have to make that decision. Absolutely. And so instead of leaving the debt, making sure that if you do have debt, that upon you leaving this earth, you are leaving the legacy. You're leaving something that people can move to the next stage for. And I know that's one thing Matt said he was going to allow me to talk on.
Wow. Well, I couldn't have said it better. Both of you have a great rest of your evening. Thank you so much again, Matt, for everything. Jana, it's always a pleasure. I love you both immensely. Please stay healthy. Please stay well. To all the viewers who took the time and gave us a good hour and 14 minutes, I can't thank you enough as well. All our public workers out there, our essential workers, all of you, please continue to be safe. May God bless you all, and we truly appreciate you here at Leverage Credit Recovery.
Great. Make sure you contact Tyrone. You got Leverage Credit Recovery, definitely. And there's the legacy that he's building for. Hi.
Right there. That's it. This is it.
Okay. So the next thing we're going to talk about, hopefully you listen in, Tyrone, for me. We're going to talk a little bit and then we can close out, but I wanted to talk about something that's near and dear that's really hitting me hard. There are too many people in today's world. We don't know when we're going to be called to the maker. You know, Dr. Pulcrum said that we got 500 years. I'm betting on her. But just in case, the best way that I think what you can do for your family is to make sure that you have your affairs in order. Okay, where people are not searching around. I have had so many of my clients, and the first question I've always asked, even in a major disaster that took place, is I hope they had their affairs in order. What does that really mean? Your affairs in order. And so, Matt, can you put up the you're supposed to put up for me the shared screen? Okay, there we go. And this is just one of the companies that I deal with, but they had such a perfect review of how it works. And it says here, planning your future. What is the most important part of your financial future? And I'm hoping this will work. Yes, it is. Okay. Every life event represents a possible change in your estate planning, your future. You know, it's something that people have passed, my opinion, a lot of the coronavirus, people are sick. And the thing is that what I just saw on the TV appalled me. There's so many funeral homes that they had a U-Haul out in front of the funeral home, not refrigerated, 2 U-Hauls with bodies. And until the people called out for the odor that they were emitting, nothing was being done. Okay, so this is beginning to be more than just the battle of the haves and the have-nots. This is just the way this world is working right now, is more than what I even want to think about. So the questions I ask to our audiences is that, if something should happen, are your affairs in order? You know, over 70% of Americans do not have a will. So you have to look at yourself. Do you have a will? What are the things that change your estate planning? Do you have home or assisted living care? That will change your estate planning because it's going to change the type of money. Do you have a trust? Have you changed your marital status? You know, when you get married, as opposed to staying single or becoming single once you've been married, watch your beneficiaries, you know, because if you haven't changed your beneficiaries and you've gotten a divorce, you do realize that whoever's on there, if something should happen to you, they will get paid. You know, did you buy a house or are you selling a house? In your real estate aspects, did you have a birth or an adoption of a child? I mean, many people realize right now there are a lot of people adopting children. And a matter of fact, there's part of the change, the CARE Act is you can take out from your retirement plan $5,000 if you had a birth of a child or you adopted a child to help them along the way. And if you get the book, How Money Works, we talk about the $1 million child, putting away a little bit of money, even as little as $2 a day, to make sure your child is a millionaire when they get ready to retire. Did you relocate to a new state? You know, are you paying going to pay taxes differently? If you live in New York, we're the highest tax state in the entire country. So are you relocating to a new state where it is, or out to another country? You know, did you have a change in employment? What's happening with your pension plan if you had one, your 401k plan? What that would make an estate planning change. Does there a change in your financial status? You know, there are people who have been hit quite hard, and they don't have a job right now. Do you touch that 401k plan? See a financial advisor. Make sure you reach out to us. You can go to my website and call for an appointment, and I can get you in touch with someone, or I can serve you. You know, did you have a birth of a grandchild? That can change your estate planning. Individual or family illness can make a difference in your estate planning. Did you retire? Are you retired? What happens to your retirement assets? Did you take a full pension maximum, or did you take a portion that you left for your spouse? You know, losing a loved one can change your estate planning. These are the things that are so important in today's market right now. I hate to say it. The other thing is, did your child turn 18? I want to say something really great about that is that congratulations, you got them to adulthood. But do you know there's a thing called the Family Educational Rights and Privacy Act? When that child turned 18, that child became an adult. So that means that you don't have rights to say what's going to happen. I'll give you a quick story. I couldn't have made this up myself. I was doing a presentation with a group of women, and the woman stood up and she said that we were telling the truth. You've got to do something. When the child turns 18, you have no rights. Her son was in school and she felt something. She kept feeling. So she called him and said, "Are you doing classes? Everything okay?" He says, "Yes." Now, again, if this form, the FERPA, has not been signed, the school can't give any information. They are an adult at 18. Of course, you may be paying the tuition, or you may be paying their, helping them stay in school or whatever. So you got some rights to get them to the side and say, you sign this, but there's a law. And you have to get them to sign this form so you can get information. She did not have that form signed. And so they would not tell her whether he was going to class or not. Well, lo and behold, her son was having a nervous breakdown at school, and he was not attending. He needed help, but they were not helping him. He was inside the dorm rooms. They were just letting him fester. When she got there and saw her child was in distress, she had to get her son dubbed incompetent so that she could help him. Now, this says right then, this is an adult, and someone else does not have rulership or jurisdiction over how things are handled for them if you don't have a few different documents. And so I'm going to talk about those. We're going to go through a few of these questions, and I'm just going to put it: without the proper planning, your assets and your family may not be protected. Question: if you have, who will take care of your underage children? There are people who are very good with children and not good with money. And then there are people who are good with money, not good with children. You might want to create, like the government has, you have the checks and balance system. So you put someone who's in charge of the money and who's in charge of the child, make sure the child is taken care of if something should happen to you. Never put underage children as beneficiaries. At that point, it's automatic what's going to happen. The courts are going to make a decision, and they're going to put it in a bank account of one of their buddies. Okay. How will you keep an 18-year-old from frivolously spending their inheritance? How do you do that? There are some ways. The best way is to set up a trust. If you're a trust and you trust never die, you have to kill a trust. Okay, it's like a corporation. It's a corpus. So you have to, at that point, when they turn 18, or whether there's a trust that says they release the money at 25 or whatever, there needs to be stipulations on how the child is going to receive their money. Personally, one of my clients did it so well. Mandatory in the trust. The child will receive the money, even if they're an adult, but they will not receive it if they do not sit with a financial planner and have financial advice. Make it simple. Who gets your home? You've built that home. We just talked about home ownership. Who gets your home, your investment property? Who gets that? You know, it's different when you just say, oh, don't worry about it. But in a trust, it can be easily discerned who has that right to receive it, who can afford it. Because you may be able to afford, the home may be paid for, but who can pay for the bills that come with it? You know, if it's a can they live in the home? Uh-huh. Okay. Who inherits all of your bank accounts? That can be discerned in a will, or you can put a beneficiary on all of your investments so that you know you can speak from the grave. Okay. Can you avoid family arguments over your belongings and keepsakes? You know, there are so many families that have broken apart, stop talking to each other because auntie told me I was supposed to get this, I was supposed to get that, and you took it, you know. Avoid those kind of problems by making sure that it's in writing. Who will operate or own your business? You know, I'm going to be doing some seminars coming up through Zoom on business ownerships, and you own your business, you create your business, you got to start grooming, or is it that the business gets sold? What's the decision that is coming up at that point? What did you group, because you birthed that business, so what do you see for that business? Do you have a partner? Not necessarily does your partner want to have certain people as partners after you leave? Those things have to be talked about. Who will make your medical decisions? And that's where your HIPAA form comes in, your living will. These are things that you need to do to put in writing who has the right. Now, everybody may love you, but everybody can't make the decision on a medical situation for you. They probably be so emotional that they won't be able to think straight. So you need someone who can think straight in the time of emergency and fulfill your wishes. And there's a big difference there. I know originally I had it where, you know, resuscitate no matter what for me. You know, if my brain is working, till I found out what they have to do to resuscitate you. And I was like, they break your ribs, they pull on your organs. I was like, got to give this another thought because I might come out of this, but I might not be great. So those are the things that you got to think about. Who will get your assets? You know, your jewelry, your TV, you know, close your eyes and say, who's going to empty out the apartment? You know, who will be that person? Um, and then who decides your health care or the end of the life decision? You know, who will fulfill your needs? Have you told them? And if you told them, that's really great. But if it's not in writing, it doesn't mean a hill of beans. The family could keep you alive, and they can keep it all the way. There was one case, I think it's been over 20 years now, where the husband felt he had the right to make the decision, but the parents felt they had a right and took it to court to see whether or not they wanted to make sure that she stayed alive, and he wanted to pull the plug. And it was just that the cost of keeping her alive was going to be so enormous, you know. And the last but not least, do you have a will? You know, it's important to have your wishes documented. And you might say, oh, I don't want, look, people be looking at what I put down on this will, and Lord knows they may put me, they be trying to take me out. Let's put it this way. There's a way of handling that. Make it real simple. Put your book, put it in writing, put the documents in a place, and let your family know in case of an emergency or something is needed. It's in the book to the right of the library or under the mattress, whatever. Don't put it there. Put a note saying, haha, not here, and tell them where it really is. This way, if you feel a little uncomfortable that people are going to try to take you out, Lord knows you think your family's going to take you out, at least you could put it in a few places. Let them play treasure hunt, but at least let them know what they're expected to do. Let the person who is your executor, because your power of attorney is one person, may not be the same person that you have as an executor. Your power of attorney person must realize that their power of attorney dies when you die. Your executor then takes place. Now you can have the same person, but those are the two that you need to find out who. And then you have to have a secondary, or you may have executors and co-power of attorneys. Children's trust. That's another aspect is that you want to set up a trust so that the children don't go hog wild with the money that you've put away. I've seen so many people who have diligently saved and put money away for their heirs, creating a legacy. And within a month, the money's gone. You might want to put some stipulations there. Durable financial power of attorney allows someone to pay your bills, take care of your financial affairs when you can't, especially if you're still alive. They can't, that you need someone designated, and you need to let them know that. It may not be letting everybody know, just let them know. A health surrogate designation, someone who has the rights to say what's going on with you. Many of people in today's world are not married, and they need to have someone who can speak for them. And it may be a significant other, it may be an in-law, it might be, it could be anyone that you trust. And sometimes we have trouble finding that, and sometimes you have to pay someone designating them. The HIPAA form is the person authorized to get your information. This is a law that says that not everybody can get your information and go with it. Some stuff you don't want people to know, only a certain person. So you have to designate who gets to be in the room and hear what is going on with you and can help you. Advanced directives, what that is that in the case of whether or not you want to be resuscitated or not resuscitated, what do you want them to do? In what situations do you want them to resuscitate? If you really don't care, it's okay. And with your will, if you want to be cremated or you want a certain burial, a certain thing to be done, you need to put it in writing. Put it in writing. Your living will can speak for you when you can't speak. And so therefore there will be directives there of what can be done while you're alive. And upon the time that you die, then your will comes, your final last will, that's why it says last will and testament comes into play. You need to put these things in order. Now, some of the companies I deal with have what they call life vaults. They have vaults so that it's not just paper, because we could have a flood, we could have destruction take place. There's a way to put it up, upload it into a safe entity. But you can also, I say, never put your will into a safety deposit box. You put it in a safety deposit box. The bank finds out you are deceased. They must lock the safety deposit box. Nothing can be done until a court order comes about for you to reopen the safety deposit box. So it's not a good idea. But if that's what you want to do, that's what will happen. Best thing is to talk to the person who is your executor and give them a copy of the will. Preferably, the executor should have the original because it makes it a lot easier to execute. But these are just things that I'm seeing right now. I had a client who just passed this week, and her son doesn't have a clue of what she has and where is anything and where you get started. Please, if you love your family, your dear friends, and they love you, please put your affairs in order. It is so important. We don't plan to live, I mean, forever, but some people do. I plan now after Dr. Pukram, I may live forever. But if we don't know when we're going to leave this earth, it could be right away or it can be 100 years from now. People are living longer, but you can sleep a lot better if you have your affairs in order. Where is the life insurance policy? Is there a life insurance policy? And we will be doing some more sessions on life insurance and the living benefit of life insurance. But I just wanted to get this part out because so much is going on. The coronavirus is here. It's just like the flu also. People are dying and their affairs are not in order. And how do I know that? Is that unfortunately what we used to call Potter's Field, which is now Hart's Field out in the Bronx, is filling. We're hearing these stories about bodies being left in the refrigerated trucks. So we don't want that to happen to any of us. And I don't want to have it to happen on my watch of anybody that I know. So I say to you, please get your affairs in order. If you need assistance and guidance, we do have some services through Naj Enterprises and our Wealth Wave group that we have products that you can use. If it's really a touchy situation, I tell folks get a glass of wine, chill back, and fill out the forms, get it done, notarize, put it away, get the people in order. It's done. Now you don't have to think about it. It's all taken care of. And so now you don't have to think about it anymore. You don't have to go through it, but at least put them in order. Okay. And so, Matt, are you still there?
Oh yeah, I'm here.
Okay. So
I'm here.
I just wanted to cover
Love you.
those aspects. I hope that was helpful to folks because that's something that is so important in this day and time.
Yeah, it definitely is. Definitely is.
Mhm.
Tyrone you touched on it earlier, but can you just quickly go over for people? Because I think, as I said before, this is one of the most important things people should understand about money, the rule of 72. Can you go over
Mhm.
that quickly?
Sure. Love to talk about the rule of 72. Okay. The rule of 72 is simple. It is the rule of compounding interest. And Einstein called it the eighth wonder of the world. Y'all know Einstein, he is brilliant. And so we're brilliant too. I don't know who started this rule, who came out with the number. It's a number. The rule of 72 says take your interest rate and divide it into 72, and it will tell you how often your money will double. Well, let's give an example for that. What is the interest rate, an average interest rate today on a savings account? Well, we won't talk about that. Let's do 1% because the average interest rate right now across the country is about 0.09. And I'll give you the figures on that. But if you took 1% and divided it by 72, your money will double every 72 years. You have to live forever so that you can get some money, build some money out of that. So I have seen many a banks that have talked about we got the best interest rate going 1.5%. And I'm like, okay, but that's not going to help you much. It's going to take you a while to make that money double. Interest rates of 0.09, well, do the math. It's 800 years. So it would take 800 years for your money to double. Let me break it down real simple. You got $1 today, you put it in the bank. In 800 years is $2. What can you do with that? Okay.
Great, great,
So
great.
oh, great. And then on top of that, guess what? You make that $2, Uncle Sam going to come and say, "Where my part?" And Uncle De Blasio, who probably won't be alive at that time, but De Blasio and Cuomo, they coming too. You know, you've got to know that there are better things. The interest rates that have taken place within the market over the past, really over the past 20 years, is average 9%. So we've gotten multiple doubles there. You're talking about, okay, we're talking about 7 times that money would double. And so I have slides that do that on my website, wealthwave.com/Yana B. Woodhouse. That's Yana with a J. And you can tap into it and you can play with it on my website. And you can also, there's a Rule of 72 booklet for you to receive if you want it. It's an ebook, that you can get. It is one of the most important things that people need to know is how money works and the Rule of 72. How do I make my money grow? If you are frightened by this market, you're just misinformed. What is this market? This is the way we live. If we think that we're safe when inflation is at, and is getting ready to go up, that's make a note. If inflation is at 2.5% and your money is doing 1%, you're losing 0.15% of your money every year. You're losing money. So if you put $10,000 into the bank and it grew to 1%, that's $100. And you got to pay taxes on it. And inflation, what is inflation? Inflation is your buying power. So I'll tell folks how I figured it out. Before I used to talk about, well, if you went to the grocery store and 20 years ago, 10 years ago, with a $20 bill, you could buy groceries. And then today, you can't buy anything. Well, I'll take it to another level because it came to my awareness. I always look for these little things that can help us to understand. I remember at least 5 years ago, you could go to the store and you could get a candy bar. You could get like 2, 3 candy bars, Hershey's chocolate bars, for $1. Mhm. Today, one Hershey's candy bar, which is smaller, is about $1.49. That's inflation. Okay. I can't buy the same thing that I did years ago today. So doesn't that mean that you have to make your money grow for you so that you can live at the same rate that you've always lived at? You don't want to live less. People retire. That's why you need to talk to a financial advisor, and don't be fearful that they will turn you down because you don't have enough money. My office, we pride ourselves in assisting people who have 10, 15, $20,000 or can only save $10 a month. Whatever it is, do something. I was on we were on the show last week with one of my partners from Florida, James Wilkerson. And so, one thing is knowledge is king, implementation is queen. We got to put it together and get going and get things working for ourselves. So that being said, I just want to implement the Rule of 72 is something that should be resounding in your head. Plus, it should sort of get you a little upset because it works in reverse. If you only pay the minimum amount on your credit cards, that money doubles. So what's your average credit card interest? 20%? That means that basically every 3 years, that balance is growing. It's doubling. So you may have had $1,000 and you just putting in and you're not just paying the minimum, that 2.5%, and then you turn around and your balance is $2,000, but you didn't buy anymore. Rule of 72. The bank is making money on you because who's making that money at 12%, 20%? They're taking your money and giving you 1% while they're charging people up to another 20% on their credit cards. What books do you recommend for financial literacy? Well, my favorite right now is How Money Works. Stop being a sucker, and all you have to do is ask, contact me, and I will get one for you. But also, there's a few other books that are out there, um, and I'm getting ready to write my own because
Yeah.
I for the urban market, we might have to talk a little different. But
Yeah.
I do think this book is a simplistic book because you know the old adage is if you want to hide something, put it in a book. Well, I think there's investing 101, the websites. I think that honestly, if you go to my website, you will learn a whole lot from wealthwave.com/. Jana B. Woodhouse. You'll have fun. I have through my years in the financial service industry tried to find a way to make financial literacy fun. Okay, I would like to purchase that book. You don't have to purchase it, Delia. Just get in contact with me. I will mail it to you free. You just got to ask. You say you have not because you asked not. You just ask. You got it. Okay. So all you have to do is let me know. I will get that book to you. Send me your address and I will make sure you get it.
Yeah.
Anybody who, uh-huh. I
Oh,
was
I'm
just
sorry.
saying,
Cut you off.
anybody who wants the book, just let me know. I'm giving it away because I feel that if you know better, you'll do better. I
Right.
can, a matter of fact, at the end of the book, which is awesome, they thought this out. They put out a financial needs analysis, which means you can fill out and then you can meet. They call this a money discovery form. And so you have the opportunity to sit down and figure out what's going on with you, but don't do it alone. It's just like when we try to self diagnose ourselves medically, you know, um, we don't do well. We miss something. Now, we may, once we go to the doctor, find out, well, they said that, I got diabetes. Well, you might do better taking some mango leaf tea or whatever. But you may not want to take their medicine, but you need to know what's going on in your body. You need to know what's going on in your finances. You're welcome, dear. No problem. Get me your information. Um, but that's what I'm saying is that if you want to know more, we're willing, we definitely will. And I will continue to do more and more seminars since we're all home. I can share a lot. I don't have to travel to do this, but I'm opening up. If you want a financial analysis, we can do it through Zoom. We can make it private so no one interrupts us and password protected. The key is that if you have a plan, then you will definitely be not planning to fail. But if you don't have a plan, you are definitely planning to fail. And it doesn't make sense. Not when you have so many resources available to you. I believe that if we can change the literacy in this country to most of Americans being financially literate, they said that
Mm-hmm.
in the next 5 years, most Americans, we will not have any illiteracy in America, which means people will be able to read. Well, now we need to challenge it and make sure that people are financially literate so that people understand how money works. So this is my crusade. This is what I my heartfelt is about. I just need to hear from you. What do you want to know about? I will make sure that we talk about it. I don't know everything. I know a lot, but I don't have to know everything. I know where to find it if we need
Yeah.
to. You know.
And,
Hmm?
no, I was going to say, I didn't want to cut you off. I was gonna say that is a good point. I know we're coming towards the end. But I wanted to also mention that in the next few weeks, we will be holding, Soul City will be holding an economic summit with some really brilliant minds, including Jana. Jana will be joined on a panel with a few other brilliant minds. And since somebody mentioned a book, another book they can get on Rochester,
The black
you should
tax.
get his book, The Black
The black
Tax.
tax.
The Black Tax, TAX. Excellent book, excellent brother. He'll be on the panel. So we'll be doing a big, huge economic summit with some really high-powered people talking with Jana, and you guys will get more information. Jana has information for days. She can go like this for days talking to you about what's happening. We talked about the Rule 72. We didn't get much into living benefits of life insurance, but we'll do that next time.
Okay.
The important thing is, like Jana said, getting your health in order is the same way you would want to get your finances in order. It's to go see a professional. Go see her. Why she's Dr. Jana B. Woodhouse. Go see Jana. She's also a therapist, a financial therapist, because people need therapy sometimes. They come to get their taxes done and their finances done.
Oh, it's no joke. I sit there sometimes and I'm like, oh my goodness, because we've been, just a note before we close, is that we have to, like I said when I started, we have to get a relationship with our money, but also we have to have the mindset. Some people say that from the Bible, oh my God, the love of money is the root of all evil. Wrong. Okay, that's wrong. It's the obsessions. We're not dealing with obsessions. We're dealing with the fact that this is a currency and that we need to use it. And the lack of money is a sin, because God said that we have everything that we need, and he provides everything for us. So if we're to have plenty because we are God's children, why are we talking about lack? The lack is in your brain. So the first thing what I do as a financial therapist is to work on what's going on in that head. Because if you constantly are spending and not rotating and circulating your money, but spending it, it's gone, then you need some help even more so. Okay, I'm going to stop talking.
No, it's all right. We're going to talk more in the next time about trust more. Trust accounts for people and for businesses. That's very, very, very important. Everybody should have a trust. You'll find out why when Jana talks about it. We're going to talk about get rich quick schemes and things that people do to try and make money quick. It's nice. We all need money quickly, but there are better ways to save your money. And I will probably just say that the banks are probably cheating you, because they give you 0.9% on money.
That's it. And don't got your money for those get rich quick schemes. They always rear their dirty heads when people are in distress.
Mm-hmm.
This is when the pyramid schemes come out and they disguise themselves. Do not. I'm not saying that there aren't ways that we can group together and put our funds together as an investment club, or we can build assets together. I'm not saying that. I'm not even really, even though I'm not the fame of it, even a susu. But the thing is that these people come out and they're predators. They come out with these ideas, and the people who started are the ones who make it. And the others, they come out. I'm watching right now, and I know we're short on time, but we will talk about this, the Forex market, the foreign exchange. You're investing in currency, thinking about getting rich off of currency when you don't have a plan for your family, just in case something happens to you, or you don't have an emergency fund. You just think this money, you invested in Bitcoins. Okay, that's wonderful. But you invested in it. What did you do with it? Did you really make that money? And don't think the government don't know you did this. Okay, because that's on the taxes this year. Just thought I'd give you a side note. These are the things that are out there. There's a lot of stuff out here we need, and it's just, I'll tell you, my last note is that I need soldiers, because I'm looking for about 8,000 soldiers to take this country to full financial literacy. I think I've calculated that it's going to take us that many, if not more. And so anybody interested in joining the crusade also, you just got to be ready to help people. You don't have to be a mathematical genius. But, yes, I see you, Tyrone. I'm going to get you. But those are the things that I'm about. I really appreciate everyone for listening. We took the 2 hours. I'm glad that we had the 2 hours. I think I truly appreciate the Health Holistic Harlem Holistic Wellness Group. I know they've worked very hard for this week. I implore everybody to continue to look at all of the different interviews. They're on their site. They're phenomenal. And this is a group that is making a difference, not only healing your body, your mind, your soul.
Yeah, Jana, we thank you. We thank everybody for listening. This has been a great session. And there's so much more that people don't know about and need to learn about, but we could not cover it in even the 2 hours that we did. We need, again, like I said, about 2 weeks. Remember, Jana has 41 years of information in her and experience. She knows how to move money. She's moved billions of dollars and made billions of dollars for people over her years. And we thank her. Jana, we thank you again. We thank you all. It is time for us to sign out. And once again, thank you so much to the Harlem Holistic Wellness Week and the H2W crew for being a part of this whole journey with us and helping us to put this all together. It's been, and we're not finished. We got a few more days left. So just stay tuned. And there's more shows to come tomorrow. But for tonight, we are done. You guys take it easy. Get some sunshine. As soon as the sun shines, get it. You need sunshine. You need that vitamin D in your system. Love you guys. See you guys later. Have a good night. Have a good day. Have a good year. Have a good, healthy financial future. We will talk to you soon. Bye-bye.